Still, if you think Bill O'Reilly's outrageous, you haven't seen anything yet.
This is recent Fox signing Glenn Beck, who at first glance looks like a welcoming, happy kind of chap. He effectively presents his commentary show in the style of a wacky neighbour from a bad sitcom. Although, actually, rather than a sitcom, this is more like an out-and-out variety show, replete with zany chuckles.
You think that ain't gonna happen?
Table-thumping conservative rhetoric.
I think this makes a good case to shoot people on the battlefield. Well, you got these guys, we can't keep them in prison because they're not technically terrorists, but they were in terrorist training camps. Were they fighting against us?
Well, they were in a terrorist training camp.
Yeah, I mean, we go in, you shoot them then.
And toe-tapping patriotic country music.
When I see people on my TV taking shots at Uncle Sam, I hope they always remember why they can. Because we'd all be speaking German or living under the flag of Japan if it wasn't for the good Lord and the man.
Anyway, so far you're probably thinking, okay, it's extremely right-wing, but it's fairly sane. Yes, because Beck isn't just the face of news, he's a bona fide social crusader who started his own post-apocalyptic sounding 9/12 project aimed at bringing the nation together in a spirit of unity and hope and something and stuff.
This is the 9/12 Project.
Are you ready to be that person that you were that day after 9/11 on 9/12? I told you for weeks, you're not alone.
Now, I don't know if you've seen the superb and prophetic movie Network, in which Peter Finch played a news anchor who loses his mind and becomes a ranting, raving, rating smash after sinister bosses leave him on air.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
This is basically like that, but crazier, and starring Paul Giamatti in a blonde wig.
The real power to change America's course still resides with you. You are the secret. You're the answer. I'm sorry. I just love my country, and I fear for it. And it seems like the voices of our leaders and special interests and the media, they're surrounding us. It sounds intimidating.
Or mental.
The truth is, they don't surround us. We surround them. This is our country.
And now the weather from a talking oven club with a face on it. Hello.
And now here's our special verse correspondent, Tim Key, with a little poem about Gordon Brown and Barack Obama.
Which one's the glass one? Obama said. Huh? Brown grunted. Doesn't sound like Brown. This was all in the Oval Office. You probably know that's in America. Which eye's made of glass, man? This. Obama reached a finger into Brown's eye. His nail tapped the glass orb twice. Tappity-tap. There was a sort of a magical sound. Obama smiled. Brown blinked. You've turned it into a real eye, said Brown. Guilty, conceded Obama. You clever swine, says Brown. It's what I do, Obama. I'll take care of all the economic stuff. Brown. Swell. Obama. We'll be bloody unstoppable. Brown. So on. Politics.
Okay, time for a little interactive section of the show now. I've got a question for you, but I want you to lean in while I ask you it. Okay? The question is...
Do you scare easily?
Well, because I know I do, which is a bit of a hindrance, what with this being an age of global terror and everything.
It's an age that juggles depressing televised updates about the situation in Iraq or Afghanistan with a bewildering number of rules brought in to help clamp down on our stupid terrorist-assisting civil liberties. That's why you need permission to protest within jizzing distance of Westminster, and you're not allowed to photograph policemen anymore, and why, under new legislation to be unveiled in the next 10 minutes, you won't be able to have a wee without the government training a camera on the very tip of your cock in case it's trying to piss in a subversive way.
Yeah, wherever you look, terror colours the news with a deep, dark, depressing tint. Having officially kicked off in the wake of 9/11, the war on terror subsequently mutated into a crazy game of whack-a-mole as we were told the source of terror was this away, then that away, then this away again.
First, we went into Afghanistan and hooray, we defeated the Taliban. The focus then shifted to Iraq and a ruddy Great War which a less balanced voiceover than this might describe as an obscene and illegal blood-soaked folly predicated on megalomania and lies.
But now we're told Iraq's calmed down again, our troops are being withdrawn, and then we're told that the people of Iraq are optimistic about their future, which may or may not be connected with this famous act of closure. You know, say what you like about Bush, he is shit hot at dodging shoes. It's like he trained to do it for years at some secret CIA boot camp. Boot camp, you get it? Boot... Oh, f*** you. Anyway, things down at Iraq Alley are apparently also peachy. Even tourists are returning in a sort of tour of duty-free.
Tina, you bought a souvenir. Let's have a look.
It's been very difficult getting any postcards at all. I think the best bits were the Marsh Arabs and Ur of the Chaldees and Babylon.
Have you felt safe?
Oh, yes.
In fact, the war on terror has ended. Well, sort of. It's actually been rebranded as the Overseas Contingency Operation, which makes it sound less like an unending worldwide conflict and more like the sort of job description some little apprentice pipsqueak twat contestant might put on their CV. Anyway, all things considered, things should be less scary now, right? Wrong.
Because we're also told the situation in Afghanistan has become more dire than ever. The Afghan elections on August the 20th could prove to be a decisive moment. The Taliban are trying to create as much chaos as possible in advance of that date, probably in a bid to convince the population that the Allies can't stabilise things.
Even sending in Grant Mitchell to try and stare the Taliban to death didn't work.
We've just been hit. We're in the open.
If even Grant finds it harrowing and terrifying, what hope is there?
What are we going to send in next, Phil? On top of that, we're now told that neighbouring Pakistan is tilting towards chaos. You know, things aren't going well for the world in general when a news network feels the need to create a Mega Drive-style suicide bomber sprite that they can summon into being at the touch of a button. Anyway, in short, it seems the great game of whack-a-mole continues, with Afghanistan and the northwest of Pakistan now being treated as one collective mole. Still, if the politicians seem to be prepping the ground for yet more grim times and the public stay distrusting of more or less anything we're told after the whole embarrassing Pack of Lives Iraq war business, well, maybe the news can fill the vacuum with balanced and insightful reporting. Yes? Well, yes and no.
Sky News recently spent 3 days bringing us a revelatory Pakistan special featuring some brave, and I'm talking literally physically brave, reporting from Stuart Ramsey and Alex Crawford. There was also a surreal piece from Jeremy Thompson from the Marriott Hotel, which, following a previous attack, now consists of a cross between an active war zone on the outside and the Ritz on the inside.
Step through the checkpoints, the metal detector and the body search, and you're into a very different world. The Pakistani capital's most prestigious 5-star hotel.
Plus lucid analysis from their foreign affairs editor Tim Marshall.
See, I'm keen not to sit here and go, oh, Sky News, that's just terrible, isn't it? Because it isn't. The thing is that the nature of rolling news means that it's often packaged together with alarming airport thriller imagery.
We see endless looping replays of material taken from propaganda videos in which members of the Taliban were shown kicking an old look-in annual to death and shooting at an infidel circle.
And less mockably, footage of the Taliban beating people with sticks and clips of the moments just prior to beheadings and shootings. See, I am rational. I do know that Sharia law doesn't just consist of hitting people with sticks. It covers things like property and finance and so on. But it's the hitting people with sticks element that tends to stick in your mind a little when you watch things like this. Taken accumulatively, it only serves to fill me with a raw animal sense of panic. The end result, intentionally or otherwise, is to leave me in a state of helpless fear. I'd rather actively remain ignorant than be exposed to this. No wonder people want to ignore it and just watch anything else. That's what I want to do.